What's up, Sooner Nation? Welcome back to the Sooner Surge. Make sure you have clicked the red subscribe button there right down in the center. You've turned on your notifications. That way you can like and comment and tell us how we're doing here at the Sooner Surge. And more importantly, tell us your thoughts on the Sooners, whatever sport we're talking about. The captains have been released for the Oklahoma UCF game, 11 a.m. kick, ABC, this Saturday. And no surprise, let's start with a captain that I think everyone expected, and that's Dillon Gabriel.
Yeah, Dillon Gabriel. Big game for him this week, facing former team there at UCF. Obviously, not that you need more motivation, but that's got to get it to him. And Dillon Gabriel should have a big week. UCF's defense isn't the greatest, so should have a good week. And I just think Dillon Gabriel right now, when you look at the team, you talk about leaders offensively, maybe team-wise, between him and Stutzman on the team, but he's definitely leader of that offense. And we've talked about it on videos before, but as he goes, I think this team goes. I think he's got to continue to play at a high level.
Yeah, Sooner fans want to continue to see Dillon Gabriel make progression, make progress late into the season, that he doesn't peak and reach something early. And I think he will, but he's working hard, yeah.
Yeah, and it'll be interesting to see because now he's kind of entered the new zone of he's in the Heisman talk. Top 2 or 3, a lot of people are saying it's a different ball game now. He's no longer under the radar, you could say, right? He's high profile. He's had that moment, and so now he's got to build off it.
Yeah, and Malzahn even talked about just how great of a quarterback he is, how great he was there at UCF before he went down. Second captain to talk about, DeJohn Terry. DeJohn Terry, Jay, had just a very very good game against Texas. Created a lot of pressure up the center, up the middle, a lot of penetration. He basically lived all day in the backfield of Texas, and he is becoming what I think a lot of Sooner fans wanted when he transferred from Tennessee, and that was a guy who brought physicality in the center of the defensive line and was someone who was going to be able to initiate penetration there in the backfield and really block that running game from teams. And OU's been great against the run, and DeJohn Terry is one of the main reasons why.
Yeah, and you saw it specifically in that goal line situation. He made a great play up the middle. And DeJohn Terry, he reminds me of, in basketball, sometimes you're like, you get into big games and guys play really well, and that's when they play well. That's kind of like DeJohn Terry. He's comes from the SEC, and you get in a big game like Texas, and what happened? He showed out, right? That moment does not bother him at all. And I think if you look from the first game of the season, he's getting more and more involved every week, and I think he's going to have a great second half of the season.
Yeah, and he's one of the reasons, when you're able to make teams one-dimensional, there are some teams on OU's schedule that are really run heavy. OSU's one. I mean, if you stop Ollie Gordon.
And this team will run the ball this week too.
Yeah, this is a good offense that OU's going to see against UCF. Really, they got some speed. They put points up on the board, and we'll get to that later in the week as we talk about this game. But the next captain let's talk about is another guy who really performed well, had a great performance against Texas, and it wasn't expected because really didn't even think he might even get on the field. But due to injury with Matoyer, Caleb Schaefer is a captain this week, much deserved. Really played well in the time he was in there against the Longhorns.
Yeah, he did. Really played well. That 2-minute drive especially was a big part of that with his protection. And it's just good to see him be able to be a captain this week. Another guy transferring in, making an impact,
Yeah. And I fully expect him to be that spot. I don't know if they're going to try to work someone else in there some, but I think it's Caleb Schaefer's to lose right now. We'll talk about Matoyer on an injury update in another video as well. But, next one we got Reggie Pearson. Reggie Pearson has come back from that injury. He's a veteran. He's a guy who's been through a lot. These last two guys both are veteran guys, and I expect Reggie Pearson to get a little more minutes this week.
Yeah, Pearson's back, I think, healthy, completely healthy, hopefully now with that bye week. And veteran leadership there, that's going to be good. As a captain, you get that veteran leadership. And He's going to be an important part of this game this week because the quarterback from UCF, dual threat, can run, pretty quick guy, but also the running back's really good too. And Reggie Pearson's got to be a big part of that running stop, stopping that run. So coming downhill. So it'd be a big game for him.
Yeah. And the last captain was a little bit of a shock to me. Not shocking in the fact that this guy isn't someone who works hard, because we know he is. He's been around. He's been on campus for a long time. Actually, one of the guys maybe people thought might leave, but he has stuck around and really is doing pretty well on special teams when he gets in there. And that's Shane Whittier, Jay.
Yeah, Shane Whittier, it's kind of like he's kind of got lost in the linebacker shuffle a little bit. But he's still, when he gets in there on special teams, whatever it is, he's making an impact. And on the sideline, you can see him on the sideline, energetic guy, probably a guy at practice that's really providing a lot for this team, that's kind of going unnoticed. And he's getting a chance to be a captain now, and I think that's great. And remember, Shane Whittier is a very fast guy for linebacker. It's not like he couldn't play linebacker if they needed to get him in there. I just think, the depth there at that position has gotten really good over the last year. But it's good to see him a captain, man. He's been around, like you said, been around with the team through the ups and the downs now. And so it's kind of refreshing to see a guy that's been through the valley with OU last year, and kind of the year when Lincoln Riley left, and he's still there, and he's going to be like captain. I think it's great.
I love what Brent Venables and staff is doing with captain picks. They're really mixing it up. They're choosing guys, showing people that roles are important. And I think Shane Whittier is a perfect example of that. He's kind of found his role, doing a really good job on some things. And you don't see what happens behind the scenes either at practice, how well these guys are going at it. And Brent Venables talked about this year is different in the fact that there are more leaders this year. Last year, they only had a few leaders. This year, they have a lot more leaders. And we're seeing that, I think, in all these captains' picks. So, yeah.
And, this will be a good test for OU coming off a bye week. You have the big game against Texas. Now you have the bye week. And you're going to have to get the team that has the top offense in the Big 12. Quarterback is back after injury. And the top 5 offense in the nation. And we all know who their head coach is, Gus Malzahn. He's been in huge games. Gus Malzahn can coach offensive football like no other. He's really good at it. And I'll say something about Gus Malzahn. Gus Malzahn's a great guy. If nobody knows kind of the story of Gus Malzahn, he, when he was a high school coach, he basically, and then when he went to TU, coached at TU for the few years there, he won a lot of kids over to Christ as a coach. He's a great human being, a great coach. And so I respect Gus Malzahn, and I think he's going to put a lot of good product out on the field on Saturday offensively. If any OU fans remember, earlier in the year, SMU game, Rhett Ashley there is a protege of Gus Malzahn, played quarterback for Gus and was his OC there for a few years there. So it's going to be a similar type offense that we saw with SMU, with some wrinkles, a lot of trick plays probably, and a much mobile quarterback. So it'll be a good test.
It'll be a good test, and I liked where the bye week came for the Sooners this year. That way, I wouldn't have wanted to play UCF right after the Texas game. I think the week off was perfect to get healed up from some guys and really let them reset. So, Captains are out. Can't wait for this Saturday, 11 a.m. kick in the Palace on the Prairie. If you're not subscribed to the Sooner Surge, do so. Till next time, Boomer.
Boomer.